everybody, I am Sam, and this is After the Bars. Happy Thursday. It's a good Thursday. It's a nice and cold Thursday here in beautiful blank Montana. No, everyone knows I live in buildings. I'm not trying to hide. Hopefully everyone's doing good today. I feel okay. I'm like iffy, offy, oofy, moffy. I would have tried to do the show earlier, but it wasn't going to happen. Mariana is making white chili. Have you guys ever heard of that? White chili? It's got everything in it. Hominy, chicken, of course, chili stuff. Yeah. They had a Ninja crock pot on sale at Walmart, and so she went and got one because she got paid yesterday. So yeah. But she's making it at her mom's. So I don't get to smell it while it's cooking. That's kind of a gyp, right? Would you guys say that I'm getting gypped since I don't, get to smell the chili, cooking? Hey, Jen Marie, good to see you. I've missed you the last couple of shows. Good to see you. Misha's been popping in and out. So that's good. Man, lots of stuff in the news, guys. Lots of stuff in the news. I'm going to stay away from politics per se. I'm just going to stay away from it right now. There's just too much. Well, I just lied. I am going to talk about Epstein a tiny, tiny bit today. A tiny bit. And it has nothing to do with all the bad stuff. I'm going to talk about. I'm going to leave it up to you guys and the replay crew. I'm going to leave it up to everyone to give me your 2 cents on what you think. I might do a poll before I play this video and after. That's what I should do. That really is what I should do. I'll just do it. I'll just do like a site poll, I guess, meaning I'll get the kind of gist of it. And, well, as long as you guys can see it amongst each other. Anyways, where's my Pepsi? I had a Pepsi. Damn it. I had a Pepsi. Where'd I leave it? I left it somewhere. Well, anyways, hopefully everyone's doing okay. I'm going to do a quick roll call. Let me get back to the top. He's going all the way. Chrissy Newton, good to see you. Oh, yeah, that's right. She went to work. Well, if you're listening, Chrissy, hello. Welcome to the show. Wyoming native, hello to you. Thank you so much for being here. James Collins cares. Hope you're feeling better, brother. We have been praying for you, and we prayed for you last night. The crew prayed for you, or at least sent you love and good vibes. Shell Dub's in the house. Dub. I'm feeling like kind of a gangster dub right now. It's good to see you, Shell. Rudy, I always mess this up. Rudy Ireta, 80. Good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a super long time. Danette, good to see you. Danette Collins cares. Oh, wait, no, I'm tripping. Whoa, that was crazy. My eyes just like meshed to the, I'm getting old, I'm getting old. So my eyes like blurred Danette and James Collins Cares chat on my screen. So it said Danette Collins Cares. And I thought she was just doing that to like play with James. But then I like focused and it was Danette McClure. Good to see you. Who else is here? Of course, Jen Marie. Good to see you. Oh, hey, friends. Long time no see, girl. Hey, girl. Who am I missing? I feel like I'm missing someone. Dun. Oh, that's awesome, Jen, getting your office set up so you can stream. Good. We're going to do part 2. It's been way too long. I don't even want to admit out loud that I suck for not finishing that video for you to upload. I could pull it up right now and show you that it's so much. I just have to do the titling. I don't know why I haven't done it yet. Is that everybody? Eli Hope, good to see you. Eli, is that what this is? Eli Hope, good to see you. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys have heard of Baron Coleman. A 1 in the chat if you've heard of Baron Coleman. And I will be right back. Just give me 1 second, guys. Geez, 1 person? Wow. There's no way. More of you have heard of Baron than that. Had to. Baron Coleman. He's like a radio talk show guy. But he has a podcast now. Look, you guys can see yourselves. Lynn is the shit, man. Lynn is the shit. Hey, Lynn, good to see you. The wonderful Lynn Arundel is here. Where is your wrench? That's crazy. There we go. I didn't take it away. Lynn, good to see you. I'm so glad you are here. Lynn is our helps me with the Facebook page. I don't know if you guys have gone to that. Go check out the Facebook page if you want. It needs attention. It just needs to be. We need to have some interaction on there where we all like plan to get together over there. And I don't know what other groups do, podcasts, what they do, as a group on Facebook. But Lynn has a thing that we can do something with music, talk about like the instruments we play. And she had some better ideas that I just can't remember right now because my memory sucks. But I would really love to play with that a little bit more. If you haven't joined the Facebook page, I'm going to put up a QR code. That QR code in the right-hand corner, you can scan that and go to the Facebook page. It's is it After the Bars or Morning Mayhem? I think it's After the Bars. Or is it Mayhem? Morning Mayhem. I can't remember. But yeah, if you scan that code, you can go to that. Yeah, it's I think it could be a great thing. Other communities have some pretty cool groups. We just have to figure out a way to where we can all interact over there. Man, I am so thirsty. Pepsi's probably not the thing to be drinking. Anyways, how are you guys? Is there any milestones, any recovery situations? Anyone dealing with anything? Anybody need any kind of support from? I need support. I'm trying to get something out of my pocket. There it is. Just to put it in the chat and we can talk about it. I do have a couple topics also that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about if Epstein, if you guys believe Epstein was a Mossad intelligence agent. The pictures you're going to see and the news stories you guys are going to see right now. I'm not playing the story. Someone else is presenting it. Valhalla VFT. He's presenting it. He's just a really smart ex Green Beret guy. He's just super, super smart. Go fast. I haven't heard anyone say go fast in so long. You're so Canadian. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, James. 21 years. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. And Danette is moving. She's got some boxes unpacked because her house is a mess. Yeah, did you used to call it that, Danette? Go fast? Yeah, that's crazy. I used to just call it coffee. I was trafficking it. So, I was traveling with, 5 to 10 pounds all the time. And so I was always real sketchy about what I said out loud or on the phone. So I was just say coffee. Hey, do you want some coffee? I'm going to come over. I'm going to grab, stop at the coffee place. But yeah, we definitely called it Go Fast for a long time. Some girl told me to call it coffee. It was a long time ago. Yeah, I am going to have someone on as a guest, like here with me. He's going to sit in this chair. He owned a big recovery company. He had like 11 sober living houses. He owned a treatment center, and he went back out and went back to prison. And he just got out. I've been talking with him. Super cool guy, like real charismatic. I'm going to have him here in studio to talk. Oh, also somebody asked me what was in this in that frame back there. I had found it. Well, I was looking for my 401k that was left over at Microsoft. So you go through like this process, and they, you get a hold of it. Anyways, it's pretty cool. But they let me get into my personal file, and I was able to print out my systems engineer certificate. How crazy is that? Isn't that cool? Yeah, they let me, man, I was like, hell yeah, that's cool. So I had my frame from my tattoo license and my business license, and I just shut down the shop. So I just put my old systems engineer license in there. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Baron is an amazing investigator. I know I'm going back and forth, but I asked everyone to put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of Baron Coleman. He had an amazing show last night. His last 2 shows are just badass. He is definitely a critical thinker, and he thinks outside the box. And his view on everything is, I don't know, man. It's really second to none. It really is. And but he knows it too. He's got that old hey K Perry. He's got that old school radio show, AM radio, news radio style. And I just enjoy it. I listened to news radio for many years in federal prison. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, he was a lawyer too. Yep. Yeah, he was a lawyer. He got himself into some trouble in the Alabama political scene, and in some other situations. He had this big thing with. I should do a story on that. He had this big thing with this lady, and I can't remember the details, but she said that he threatened her on air, and he kind of. You could infer that he did, but anyways, he ended up winning in the end, and she had to apologize, and people lost their jobs and all kinds of crazy stuff. His channel is called Baron Coleman Podcast, PBD or BPD, Baron Podcast. I think it's like BPD for some Baron Coleman podcast, Baron podcast. Yeah, Baron podcast. Anyways, I'll leave a link in the description. I just did that video on it. Here, we'll check it. We'll check that out real quick. Let me get to my channel. Where is it? I can never find anything on my own channel. I need to redo my... I need to redo my whole page. Anyways, Mariana just came home. Let me pull up this video. Where is it? There it is. Hold on, guys. Anyways, let me show you guys this real quick. I was in the wrong browser. Yep, it's the mayhem show. Lots of mayhem. That's Baron Coleman right there on the left. I did a video called Baron's War. It's pretty crazy. He went against the Attorney General. Attorney General said he was a confidential informant. He provided information for the defense with Speaker Hubbard from the Alabama House of Representatives, and the Attorney General says he flipped. He was a CI, but then provided information to get the Speaker of the House was getting indicted. Well, they were trying to build an indictment against him, and he flipped and tried to help the defense, and it ended up being like the hero of the House of Representatives. Here, I'll play a little bit of it. The information Coleman provided was deemed valuable to investigators in the Hubbard case. However, the affidavit represented a radical shift characterized by the prosecution as coming from a now formal confidential informant and leading to grave speculation about his motives. And
Real Fabio.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh, I almost have the name. Ugh. So he's like, yeah, that dude, he didn't testify against somebody. Thank you, honey.
Of this year's session of the Alabama legislature. In an interview Monday, Hubbard said he has no plans of stepping down as Speaker of the House.
In the charged political environment of Montgomery, Alabama, especially surrounding the felony corruption case against House Speaker Mike Hubbard, very few dared to challenge the power of the Attorney General's prosecution team.
We were accused, but at every step along the way, the court never found any basis for those things. And in this kind of prosecution, when you're investigating and prosecuting people at the highest levels of power in government, you're going to get that sort of tactic.
But attorney and radio talk show host Baron Coleman stepped directly into the fire. Ironically, Coleman was once known as a fierce critic of Hubbard, yet the role he played by providing a critical sworn affidavit shifted that dynamic entirely, making him, in the eyes of many, the champion the Alabama House needed. In February 2016, Coleman delivered a 3-page affidavit to Hubbard's defense team. This document was extraordinary. It alleged potential prosecutorial misconduct and fraud centering on Matt Hart, the lead prosecutor in the ethics case. Coleman claimed that Hart had given him information that he concluded was from the grand jury. He further alleged that he used the information in a whisper campaign against Hubbard during the 2014 Republican primary. The affidavit immediately provided the basis for Hubbard's defense to renew their motion to dismiss the felony case. The power of Coleman's statement came from his previous long-hidden role. The state revealed Coleman was a confidential informant, a CI for the Attorney General's Special Prosecution Division since the fall of 2012. This status predated his work as a Daily Radio show host or political consultant for Sandy Toomer.
In a very backhanded, sly, wry invitation from him, I'm not accepting it. Had he called me professionally at work and asked me if I would meet with these people, I would probably have done it. But I'm not going to be beat down and challenged on the radio and forced into going to a meeting. It's just not going to happen.
For years, he was an unpaid informant, and prosecutors maintained that all his conversations with Matt Hart were lawful and appropriate. Because they were strictly for the purpose of Coleman conveying information to the state for law enforcement purposes. The information Coleman provided was deemed valuable to investigators in the Hubbard case. However, the affidavit represented a radical shift characterized by the prosecution as coming from a now formal confidential informant and leading to grave speculation about his motives. The tension came to a head when Coleman began publicly criticizing the Attorney General's office on his radio show regarding a legal services contract. The state claimed that Hart called Coleman on January 19, 2016, to assess if his status as an informant had been compromised. Coleman saw it differently. He alleged that Hart's call was an attempt to intimidate him into not criticizing the state's actions. This perceived pressure served as a final tipping point.
A strategy of slash and burn, seek and destroy. And, one of the things I love about Donald Trump, you know why I think I fell in love with the man? I never let somebody come at me and don't take them out. Never. Matt Hart came after me from the Attorney General's office.
It's important to note the immense legal risk he took. Just months earlier, when the defense tried to subpoena him before he provided the affidavit, Coleman argued in court that the subpoena was frivolous, stating he knew nothing about the grand jury. When he chose to come forward, he willingly contradicted that earlier statement and forced the prosecution's hand, leading the state to disclose his confidential status publicly in an attempt to refute his claims. In short, Coleman prioritized his perception of justice and transparency, sacrificing his utility as a confidential source to deliver the shocking claims contained in his affidavit. The impact of Coleman's affidavit on the Alabama House of Representatives was immediate and dramatic. Despite having been an opponent of Hubbard, Coleman was recently lauded as a hero by certain members of the Alabama House of Representatives for coming to the Speaker's defense. The individuals held a serious belief Coleman's testimony might lead the court to dismiss the charges against Hubbard. One lawmaker, Representative Jack Williams, was compelled to organize a formal response after reading the document. Williams noted that while rumors of leaks and wrongdoing had circulated until the affidavit came forth, there was no substantial proof. Williams admitted, "When I read Baron Coleman's affidavit, I gasped several times. It was so shocking." Though he added, "I wasn't surprised because we all had heard those things."
And the Alabama legislature is back in session today. State Representative Mike Hubbard, by the way, will continue his role as Speaker of the House. He was reelected today despite being indicted on 23 ethics charges. That indictment came last fall. Hubbard pleaded not guilty. He is still awaiting trial. 99 of the 105 members of the State House voted to reelect him as Speaker.
The faith placed in Coleman's allegations led to a remarkable
That's pretty crazy. He got indicted on a ton of felonies, and they still elected him like 100 to 20. Like more than like 80% of the House voted to have him back as Speaker. He was a very, very popular guy, and that's probably why they were able to say like this is a witch hunt. But he did end up going to federal prison. Partisan effort. Nearly 40 Alabama lawmakers from both Democratic and Republican parties signed a letter addressed to the U.S. Attorney General calling for a full, unbiased federal investigation into Coleman's claims. These legislators openly criticized the handling of the matter, accusing Attorney General. Well, you get the gist. Basically what I was just trying to showcase was that he's a very, very interesting cat. Like there's all the success he's receiving now on his channel. He literally went from just having a podcast for like his friends to talk about stuff to completely taking off. He went from 3,000 or 9,000 subscribers to over 50,000 subscribers in really just a few short weeks. Because of the work he was doing with Google Trends and showing some, I don't know what you would call it, just some anomalies that are happening in the case, how it really was an operation to unalive Charlie Kirk. It's hands down. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. It was an operation who knows, they can say, it's Philadelphia, the Middle Eastern country that I don't want to say the name because I get shadow banned all the time. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, that's on my channel. You guys can go check that out. A lot of you already have. It's pretty cool. It took me a long time to put it together, like almost a week. And I do little mini docs overnight sometimes. I don't know why that one took me so long. I did have some connection trouble. So, it's my video editing software does rely on a solid internet connection. And so things were like hard to move across the screen, things like that. So maybe that's why it took me so long. But anyways, it was fun. But yeah, super interesting cat. I mean, I could do a whole series on different things about Baron. It's just pretty cool. But anyways, let's talk about real quick what we came to talk about, or what I came to talk about, and for you guys to participate in is Valhalla VFT. He is a creator on YouTube. He covers almost everything. Super smart guy too. Another like crazy smart guy. When I hear these guys, they've been doing it for a long time. But when they present their evidence or their takes on the stories that they put their attention to, it's just amazing. It's amazing. But so I'm gonna play a little clip from Sean Ryan's interview with Brian Harple. I did a show on it the other day too. But I just want to talk about just one specific area where Sean Ryan talked. We all believe that he lied through most of that. If you want, go check out Baron's show from the night before last. And he really explains a lot of it. Boy, StreamYard is being really weird right now. Just to let you guys know. That's why there's like blank screens. I have to like re-add the media to the screen. What he's going to talk about is, the video of after Charlie fell to the ground and they were like over him, like they were all doing something to his body and like handing things off to people. So Brian Harple, it kind of talks about that a little bit in this clip. I might not be queued up right to where I need to be, so I'm going to move it around a little bit, possibly.
So I jumped down on top of Charlie to cover him because where we're at, it's concealment at best. It's a tabling with cloth on it, so it's not hardcover. Our guys are starting piling back in, and they're down, putting a human shield around him, but it's still just concealment. It's not cover.
Liar.
And so I initially dove down on top of him and just was on him almost face to face. And then when I was doing that, I went down, I could see the wound. And so I immediately shoved my hand into the wound to stop the bleeding, just trying to find the pressure. And it was coming out still. And I'm on top of him, like close. And it was still coming out enough that it squirted through my fingers and I could taste it on my lips. And so I was like, man, this is a bad wound. Right. And so I was just pushing that. And I don't know at that time. I know when you look at the clock, I was on him within 5 seconds and had my hands in him. And then I don't know when I put the first piece of medical on him. It was sometime after that. Because I carry it right here. And that's why you carry it on you. You got to have it there. So, but then I remember pulling back away and thinking, damn, this is bad. Like it's coming out. And I don't remember saying this, but the guys told me, and you can kind of see it on the video. I said, prep the car. And I just prepped, and you see the two guys just take off. And
I'm just going to pause for a sec. Shell Dub says, Sean Ryan is making me wonder about him with his lack of hard questions for this guy. Me too. He did not push on anything. He did, at one point he said, hey, even my guys have some questions about what you guys were doing over Charlie's body. And all his guys are all Navy SEALs, Green Beret, they're all special force guys, the guys that he has around him on his compound back east. It's if those guys are having questions, then something's up, man. And but yeah, he definitely didn't push back on any of these like weirdo explanations of what I don't know. Does he not recall that we have video of it? They didn't all like shield him. They it just stood over him and like were doing things to his body. But you can't see his hands. He's saying from his bag that he is putting, gauze. And see, every time I do anything from the screen, the media turns off. But anyways, from his bag that he's, putting stuffing gauze into his wound. But you can see his hands when he does the handoff, there's no blood on his hands. And then when he stands up, when they go to lift, he's carrying a bag on his side, on his right side. And there's no, like the tops of his hands are clean. They're all white. And Valhalla VFT interviews this guy, a Green Beret medic, and who's been around a ton of people, men, our servicemen that have been shot, and it just explained that there's just everything is covered in blood. But he does get emotional about it, so that's why I question my own understanding of the situation. It's hard to fake that kind of emotion. But you remember this guy's ex Blackwater CIA operative, the guy that's telling this story, and those guys were the real deal. They were the real deal. They were taught how to act, how to be interrogated, how to, not that Sean Ryan is interrogating him even a little bit. He's just basically telling him, well, the internet is saying this. What do you say? And all the Zionists out there are all saying like, oh, yeah, he debunked everybody. No, he just made it worse. And then he put that sergeant on blast for saying that he had the roof covered. He's blaming the sergeant, the chief of the UVU police force, saying that they had the roof covered. And that's not what he said. He just said, I got you covered, because he asked for permission to put a guy up there. And the police chief just says, yeah, I got you covered. I take that as, I got you covered. Yeah, I'll give you access to that roof. He's taking it as like, oh yeah, no, I'll put my guys up on the roof. Well, no, that's not their responsibility. You were responsible for Charlie Kirk. You were getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars a year to protect this man from being assassinated, and you miserably failed. You miserably failed. Like, why are you coming on now? Why are you providing this narrative now? Is it because Candace Owens is getting so close to the truth? It's hard to understand. But anyways, let's listen to VFT talk about it. Take a listen. This guy's great. I know you guys have seen this guy around.
Files will never come out. Let's talk more about why. Okay. So as we talked about before, Epstein, obviously intelligence asset. For who? I don't know. CIA.
Oh yeah, this is the Epstein stuff. My bad. My bad. I forgot. I was going to talk about the Epstein stuff too, and I had a clip of him. Well, that's really all we need to do is to talk about the Baron Col or the Harpole thing. Well, I guess I could play this. Here, we'll listen to him on the Coach Collins show.
Potentially cheating Charlie that we can't see, but until you show me that, all I see is a guy who's bloody from carrying Charlie Kirk. Okay, so moving on with that. And as we saw in this,
here we go.
I'm not sure. Everybody's got their hands down there doing something with Charlie. I would hope there's a med bag, a trauma medicine bag. I don't see any gauze being pulled out. I don't see anything being pulled out and handed off. I see things being handed off to people behind them as they run off.
Look right there. No blood. No blood. Did you guys see that? He's been down there for about 10 seconds. He said he was stuffing gauze into his wound. But you hear what he said on Sean Ryan. He's like, oh, I don't know when I started that. You already have your hands on his neck, supposedly. What are you doing? I mean, what's going on, dude? You were already down there for a long time. Valhalla. See, look, it did it again. All right, let's listen to these guys do some commentary on it.
As far as we have the footage now, I don't see proper trauma medicine being displayed at all. Okay. And especially even the guy we looked at with the little tiny bit of blood on his hands, if he had his hands buried into a carotid artery, his whole hands would have been covered in blood.
That's just it. Brian said, no, he was the one responsible for it. He had the med bag. And when they were putting Charlie in the car, the paramedics tried to give Charlie attention. And they shoot him away. They didn't even let him even take a remotely a close look at Charlie. Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. As when we had Alex Sticky Green Beret, who is a special forces combat medic, come on and explain that to us as well. All right, so where are we at so far? Okay, some things like hand signals and whatever I think are non-starters. Some actual bizarre behavior, and then also what's still.
So I play that because, this guy actually has experience, and he's right. If his hands were buried in, like he said, you would see that type of blood all over the guy's hands. And the guy I'm talking about is Brian.
All right. Well, we're going to stick with Valhalla and we're going to switch topics real quick and talk about Epstein for a second. This is unbelievable. You know, they would want us to believe that Epstein was just this weird old guy who was bringing in underage girls to do, you know, to frame, you know, businessmen and politicians and yes, that did happen. You know, the files are out. Not all the files, because they're using excuses like, you know, pending investigations. They're protecting the way they do investigations. You know, there's a name for that. I can't remember what it is. You know, like theories and they're protecting all that, so they don't have to give all the files. You know, they're redacting those things. And, you know, when they protect the victims, they're also protecting the perpetrator, because they can't show, you know, the documents, the investigation documents, the grand jury documents, or the investigation just documents that of investigations of those victims. But we're not here to talk about the victims today. We're going to talk about Epstein and his connection. Do you think... Put a 1 in the chat if you think Epstein was a Mossad agent, and then we're going to watch this, and then I want you guys to do it again. And tell me now if you truly think that he was a Mossad agent. This blew my mind this morning, guys.
Mossad, somebody, we know that. And there's just so much proof to that now that, of course, the mainstream media is completely ignoring. Nobody's talking about it. Yes, you even have outlets like BBC saying that this is all a conspiracy theory, that Jeffrey Epstein was attached to apparatus, or that he was working for an intelligence agency like Mossad or the CIA. Interesting, because all these leaked emails sure show us a lot of stuff that doesn't look like some low-level pimp that was just, you know, trafficking people for cash. Here's just a few of the stories. All right. So let's look at a bunch of these. All right. Jeffrey Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to Cote d'Ivoire. Leaked emails show that details behind talks between Cote d'Ivoire and Israel, shepherded by Ehud Barak, who we know all about him through Virginia Griffith's book, and Jeffrey Epstein, which, again, he was the former prime minister of Israel. So as you can see there's Jeffrey with a foreign military. So it says here, Jeffrey Epstein and Ehud Barak were specialists in war profiteering. At the end of his tenure as Israel's defense minister, and after his supposed retirement, Barak embraced a role as a salesman of Israeli security services to embattled governments, opening the door for Israeli intelligence leaders to shape the security apparatuses of several African nations. Does that sound like some low-level, you know, pimp to you?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? He's like providing foreign militaries with, you know, teaching them, you know, how to communicate with their troops. It's just nuts. It's nuts. I downloaded 60,000 files today onto my hard drive, all the Epstein files, and I'm gonna plug them into a language model, and that way I can just, it's like my own private little chat GPT. So I put all the information in, and then if I have questions, it'll answer questions just from that language model of the Epstein files. It's pretty cool. And I haven't gotten to it yet because I just did it today, but yeah, and that's not all. I mean, like, look, he's like a liaison between Israel. Oh, I said it. Damn it. Between Philadelphia and some foreign nation, but that's not all. Here, we'll talk about Valhalla real quick. Thanks. Where is it? K Perry. K Perry says Valhalla is a military term. Valhalla is also for Odinist. If you, it's a religion. It's a pagan religion. Valhalla is where warriors go when they're killed in battle. It's like their heaven. And it's said that Odin has a hall, like, with a long tables where there's just beer and women. And when they die, especially if they die with their sword in their hand, they go to Valhalla. And so it's also a military term. And the name of the guy that Sam just showed, YouTube channel. It's also what Patel said after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and it pissed military people off. It pissed a lot of people off. It pissed Christians off because why would you say "see you in Valhalla" to a Christian? A Christian's not going to go to Valhalla. Does Valhalla even exist? I'm a Christian, so heaven exists, and we could say, okay, heaven's Valhalla, but it's definitely not the true meaning of Valhalla, where there's, it's just a big party with beer and people partying. It's just a bunch of people partying. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, a lot of people were super upset that Cash Patel said that. I couldn't believe he said it. I was like dumbfounded that he said that. You guys can't even see me. Let's play a little bit more of this. This is crazy.
We're talking about dealing in massive, high-level, nation-to-nation war profiteering schemes. So it says here, new details about Epstein's role in Israeli intelligence operations in Africa have emerged from two sets of documents, an archive of leaked emails released by Handala Hacking Group and hosted by nonprofit whistleblower site, distributed denial of secrets, and documents released by the House Oversight Committee last month. The latter set includes Epstein's personal emails and appointment calendars, which provide clear evidence Epstein's involvement in Israel's West African security negotiations in 2012 while Barack was still Israel's defense minister. And here's a bunch of other email stories. Israel spies stayed for weeks at a time with Jeffrey Epstein in Manhattan. Jeffrey Epstein helped broker Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Jeffrey Epstein and the Mossad, how the trafficker helped Israel build a back channel to Russia amid Syrian civil war. Jeffrey Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state. Here's some more, as we just talked about. Breaking, Epstein helped Israel overthrow Bashar al-Assad. Explained, Assad being overthrown can consolidate Israeli power in the region, which is exactly what happened with the installment of al-Jawlani, who is now basically giving Israel everything they wanted. So again, are we worried about Donald Trump and Bill Clinton being exposed? Or are we worried about the fact that people are going to find out that, Israel's intelligence network, assisted knowingly by our own intelligence apparatuses, helped facilitate and run, again, an international child trafficking ring? That's what the files are going to show. And that's what they cannot let you see. And to even some of the crazier stuff, I don't know if you've seen this. Yes, emails talking about how even early Bitcoin development is rumored to have been financed by Jeffrey Epstein, with the emails showing that Epstein potentially was behind the financing of Bitcoin. Why is that a big deal? Well, because there's always been the rumors of who started Bitcoin.
Nobody can explain to me who Satoshi was, the creator of Bitcoin, this mysterious guy who apparently knows who he was. I grew up in D.C. primarily in a government family, so CIA. That's my guess. Can't prove it, but you're telling me to invest in something whose founder is mysterious and has billions of dollars of unused Bitcoin. What is that?
All right, so here's what's going to happen. Here's how I think they're going to roll this whole thing out, guys. I think the writing's on the wall for us. What they're going to do is, and they just had a government shutdown, just, now that I'm looking at it, pretty convenient 2 months to allow them a little bit of time to start doing this. What they're going to do is they're going to redact and remove all the files that we talked about, anything classified, anything that's part of the ongoing investigation, anything that potentially compromises victim security, anything that compromises all these poor, innocent, rich men, again, which Cash Patel said all of them are innocent, and anything that potentially is a national security risk, and anything that reveals methods and sources. So they've already told us that's all of those things we're not going to get. So what are we going to get?
That's what it was. Methods and sources. That's what I was trying to think of earlier.
We're going to get some low-hanging fruit, like people like Larry Summers, probably David Copperfield, magician, right? Which, I'm just guessing because Thomas Massey said there was some famous magician. I bet I'll be right that he'll be one of the ones named. People like in Hollywood, Harvey Weinstein, just low-hanging fruit that they'll be able to take, perp walk potentially, and then they'll be able to tell the American people. Fox News will be able to tell you, Look at the most transparent and accountable presidency in U.S. history, and Americans will eat it up. Wow, we got him, boys. While conveniently, none of the people that actually matter will be implicated, and all of the big high side level things, CIA, intelligence apparatus.
No, Jim Marie says, let me get this straight. Suddenly, this child SA trafficking is suddenly now not a big deal because being an asset or not, his S crimes are the worst of what he did as a survivor of child teen SA. No, that's not what I'm saying. And I don't think that's what anyone is saying. Everyone thinks that the SA and the S trafficking, is bigger than what everyone thought, and that it's not just some little thing in New York, where he or the island where he's just setting people up. It's quite larger than that. At least that's what I believe, and it needs to be investigated even further. But I think what this does prove is just his connection to Mossad. Where everyone was like, no, there's no way, just because, his girlfriend, his dad was a Mossad agent, the big media empire, Ghislaine's dad, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. I can never remember his first name. We'll just call him Mr. Maxwell. It's huge. It's huge. Yeah, way bigger and way crazier, and that is really, really why they're willing to everyone's willing to cover it up, because and to throw away their MAGA is done. MAGA's is done, but they're willing to throw away their whole. Well, MAGA's not done, but Trump and MAGA is done, and they're throwing away everything, all their integrity, the trust that the American people had in this administration, and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. That's all a wrap. It's definitely easier to understand now why they had to do it. It just sucks that they had to do it, but you know what? That's the role they chose, and they chose to zig instead of zag, to be honest and have integrity, and to follow through with all the campaign promises that were made on the campaign trail, using all YouTube and podcasting and social media to get reelected, with Joe Rogan, with Kash Patel, with Dan Bongino. They all had podcasts and were plugging and normalizing Donald Trump, that he was the real deal, and I believed he was the real deal, and I still have faith that most of what he's doing is better for our country than what Kamala Harris would have done. It absolutely is. And I can't believe this show just turned into a lightweight, have a political conversation. But that's basically it, guys. I just wanted to kind of show that. And I don't know how I got sidetracked with Baron Coleman today. I don't know. I don't know why. But I just want people who don't know about it to go check him out and to subscribe. It's that good. He's that good. He's going to eventually be one of the top YouTubers. Absolutely. He's going to be one of the tops. Yeah, Robert Maxwell. Thank you, Jen. So anyways, thanks for coming out today, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. It'll be an earlier show, and then we're going to we got to do some things around the house tomorrow. So I'm probably going to try to do it as early as possible. If I don't, it'll be later, or not Saturday. If I don't do it tomorrow, it'll have to be like Monday. I'll do another show, but they're going to start coming more frequently. If not, Monday through Friday. Maybe I might miss one of the days, Wednesday through Friday, but definitely way more than 0 shows. That's for sure. I will do read super chats at the end of every show. Unless there's like too many, I will do a break in the middle of the show and read super chats. But that doesn't seem to be a problem. not yet, at least. You know, I need to get a few hundred people in here every day. That's the goal. The show will start getting tighter with, you know, news segments and monologues and everything. Again, I'm just trying to get my sea legs back. That's it. James Collins Care says, Sam, a woman was set on fire in Chicago. Yes, I just seen that this morning. And the guy who did it, was had been let out 21 times, or has 21 felonies, violent felonies, something like that. Oh wow, yeah. I love the Cartier family. Those dudes they're entertaining and they're smart and they're awesome. Yep. If I do a show tomorrow, I will cover that story, guys. But thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. You guys are the original Samsters. But we're going to try to grow the community as fast as we can. Thank you, Kay Perry, for coming here. Danette, James Collins Cares, Lynn, Arundel, Kay Perry, Shell Dub. It's good to have everyone back together. We got the team back. No, the band. We put the band back together. It's ready to go on tour. Who else? You know what? I'm going to make. There you go, Kay Perry. Since you're consistently here, I gave you a wrench. You don't have to. It's not like I'm holding anyone responsible for the moderation, but I just wanted more wrenches than I had before. Of the people that are here consistently and the people that I trust just by the commentary that we've batted back and forth and the conversation. So thank you, King Yeti, for being here again. This is King Yeti's third show that I remember, maybe even four. Thank you so much, King Yeti. Appreciate you participating in the chat. We want to have a big community where we can think outside the box, in the box. You know, sometimes, you know, people are like, oh, you need to think outside the box. And, you know, I'm like, yeah, I will when the box is empty. You know, sometimes the box ain't empty on certain topics. And there's plenty of solution that's just right here and tangible that we don't have to reach and try to fix something that's not broken. If I missed you saying goodbye, I apologize. I don't think I've ever said goodbye to everyone before. That's new. But I'm just going back. What happened to Kim? Did Kim leave? Well, Kim, if you're still listening, good to thank you so much for coming in. I think I got everybody. All right, I'm going back down. Real recognize real. That's right. I say that all the time. In a federal prison, I would be like, men respect men and recognize. Real recognizes real. That's right. Absolutely. And you really a violent prison like the USPs and the feds definitely separates the men from the mice. And I don't mean you have to be tough. There's lots of like white collar guys in there that are just like super nerdy that stand up and hold their head up high in those violent prisons and they make it, you know, because their paperwork is good. They didn't touch kids. They didn't tell on anybody, and they get respect and they get protected. You know, no one's gonna bully them because there's plenty of bullies in there. I know I was one, not a bully, but a bully's bully. Oh, Eileen Dubb was here today. Wow. Eileen Witkenkamp, crazy. That's cool. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. You guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Remember, be kind to each other, be kind to yourself the most. And if you see someone with their head down and they look sad, just ask them how they're doing. And if they say they don't want to talk, then they don't want to talk, even if it's a stranger. You can be intrusively kind sometimes, and it surprises people, but that kindness from strangers, I've told that story before. Maybe I'll have to tell it again soon. Save my life was kindness from a stranger. Save my life. And I'm not exaggerating. I was going to take my life. If not that night, the next day. But a stranger asked me how I was doing and if I needed help. And it shook me out of it. So anyways, I'll tell that story again sometime soon. Maybe I'll tell my whole story like at the 30-minute version soon to kick this off again. And I love you guys. You guys have a great day, and I will see you really soon.
Stay loud. Don't be woke. Stay wild. Stay awake. This was morning.